Welcome to the Kenwood Disaster Chef competition. My name's Miranda Gore Browne, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make a walnut and strawberry cream layer cake in the Kenwood chef sense. So very simple ingredients to make this delicious cake. We've got really soft and squidgy butter. It's very important that you make sure your butter is super soft before you start making a sponge cake like this. And then I've got some golden caster sugar, some eggs, and some self-raising flour and baking powder. Oh, and I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla as well. So let's get started. Got the Kenwood chef sense here with the balloon whisk on. I find that gets the most air into your cake mixture and gives a lovely fluffy texture to the sponge. So first of all, our lovely and soft butter, and then golden caster sugar. And I'm actually going to whisk this quite fiercely on a high setting, probably for about 2 or 3 minutes. Often people make the mistake of not whisking their cakes enough at the beginning, and it's this bit that really gives you a lovely even bake. Can you see how much paler it is than when we started? So that's important, and it looks lovely and creamy and light and quite fluffy. And now we're going to add the eggs. I've got 4 large eggs here. Now, I always break my eggs into a little bowl first, just because if you do get a load of shell in, it's really hard to get it out of the mixture. Or if you do have an egg that isn't very nice when you open it up, you don't spoil the whole of your cake mix as well. Okay. And again, we want to mix this in quite furiously. I'm going to add the egg a little bit at a time through the chute. I think we're almost done, but I'm just going to scrape down the sides just to check everything is mixed in properly. So now what we're going to do is we're going to sieve in the dry ingredients. So I've got self-raising flour and I've got 2 teaspoons of baking powder just to give it that extra lift. And now I'm going to pop the whisk attachment back on, and I'm going to use the gentle folding mechanism just to gently and carefully fold in the dry ingredients. Just going to stop it for a second, and I'm going to add a tablespoon of milk and a teaspoon of vanilla. And then I'm going to gently fold that in. So now for the final ingredient, our lovely toasted walnuts. And to crush these, we're going to use a wooden rolling pin. I think that looks perfect. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to take off the whisk attachment. Just going to scrape this mixture in. And I'm going to swap this for the K-beater. I find that that's the best one to use just to fold in the nuts at the end. And now we're ready to scrape the mixture into the prepared tins. I've got 2 8-inch or 20cm sandwich tins with loose bottoms. But if you haven't got loose bottom tins, that's fine. One of the things I always do is line the bases of the tins with non-stick baking paper. So a little bit of the very soft butter we've had left over from the cake mix, and on a piece of baking paper. And then pop the circles of baking paper in the bottom, and this really helps. It means that you get a really nice, neat finish, and you can get them out of the tins really easily. As equally as possible, split the mixture between the tins. So I tend to put a little bit. And you just want to gently level the tops. Again, don't push it down too hard and don't flatten it with great force. You just want to very delicately ease it into the edges and just smooth the tops. We're ready to put them into the preheated oven, preheated to about 180 degrees, and then we're going to bake them for about 25 minutes. And I always find it really, really important to set a timer, otherwise I get distracted and then I forget to come and check them. I've taken the cakes out of the oven. They're lovely and springy to touch, and I put a skewer in and it came out clean. If it's coming out with some of the raw mixture on it still, then you need to pop them back into the oven for probably another 4 or 5 minutes. And then leave them in their tins to cool. I leave them in their tins for about 5, maybe even 10 minutes. So now we're ready for the fun part. We're going to make the strawberry cream layer to go in the middle of our walnut cakes. I've got here a really simple recipe. We're just going to whip up some double cream, and then I'm going to push a few strawberries through a sieve to make a lovely little strawberry coulis. And I've got some strawberries here that have been finely sliced up, and I've put a tiny bit of balsamic vinegar on them, which might sound a little bit strange, but it really brings the flavour out of the strawberries and gives them a lovely intensity. So let's start with whipping the cream with the balloon whisk attachment. I've got 300 millilitres of double cream. These strawberries have just been hulled, so we've taken out the stalks and then they've been finely chopped. Just makes a rather nice sort of strawberry sauce to dribble over the top. I'm just going to fold the strawberries in by hand so that they don't get too mushed into the cream. And the same here with the more chopped up strawberries. And using the spatula, I'm just going to gently do a figure of 8 movement just to fold them into the cream. Now we've made our strawberry cream, it's time for the fun part. We can put the cake together. I'm going to put a little bit of cream in the middle just to stick the cake on a little bit. Start with our bottom cake. Put that on and just press it down a little. And then I'm going to put on the cream. And just gently push it to the edges. We don't want to put it right up to the edges because it's going to squash down a little bit when we put the top on. There we go. And then I'm just going to place some of these strawberries around the edge. There we go. Gorgeous. And now we're just going to put a little bit of icing sugar and some more strawberries on the top. So as you can see, I've just decorated it with a few edible flowers. These are little violas and some little sprigs of mint, also from the garden. I've dusted it with icing sugar. So there you go, walnut and strawberry cream layer cake, and you can see just how easy it was to make in the Kenwood chef sense. Happy baking!